Don't count out Casey Drake in that 87. He's right.
One more lap to go here at Indy. He ran him all the way from 3 seconds back. 2 laps to go. Oh, L2 gets done. Oh, Matthew gets the apron. Around the Strexler. He spins right from the back. Huge wreck. The 2 flies up in the air. It's 3 wide. Oh, what a move by Derek. He wants to go.
Tries to send him up the hill, but can't quite do it.
Now between the two is 2 car lengths. Too little too late for Derek and Smith. Oh, clapping gets third! Clapping gets third! Oh my gosh! Side by side, 3 wide at the wire!
And I'm Dewey Schramm. Tonight is the finale of the Dega week here. We've already run the first 2 races, which I think have been more clean than I think anyone would have expected them to be. But, of course, there's always another opportunity for a big one to strike. Will it be tonight, or will we go the entire weekend without seeing a massive wreck that will bring out a caution? We shall see. But it's been a really, really exciting weekend. And, of course, Super Late Models kicked off at Irwindale a few days ago, so it's been a really great week all around. About 3 minutes left here in practice. Benjamin White on top of the speed charts right now in that 36. Qualified in the top 5 for the truck race 2 nights ago, so he's got speed here. But we'll see where everyone ends up shaking out. Yeah, of course, you got the teams that are going to be working together, and then you got the people that are going to, friends with each other that are going to typically work with each other. But over the course of a race like this, you may end up working with some random people that you never thought you may end up working with, and that's how Talladega works sometimes. If the right guy's in the right place, you might just hook onto his back, or maybe he hooks on with your car, and you might go places. So that's one of the cool things I think about Talladega and Daytona, is that people you may never think of being together and working like that end up together and either going into the front, or if you do it wrong, all the way to the back. Yeah, we've already seen 2 pretty impressive winners here. Brian Mullen won his first iSCAR race in a long time on Friday, and Blaze Crawford picked up his first ever iSCAR win last night. So you've already seen 2 pretty interesting winners here, so there's entirely possible to see perhaps a third one here tonight. But with a minute left in practice, you can bring up the point standings and see how these guys are shaping out with just 3 races remaining before the chase. Josh Patterson still on top of that Xfinity chase, with Cole Williams just 25 points behind. This, of course, is the one series that Christopher Wiles not in the top 2 in the standings, but he's still third. Looking back towards the chase cutoff, with Mulrooney and Mark Frimpong no longer in the lead, that means Joe Burgee in the 83, currently the last car into the chase. And with Cody Webster down there in 20th, he still can mathematically get to that 13th spot by the end of the night, if he's here. That is for sure. And that'll do it here for practice. We'll scoot ourselves off to the side quickly for qualifying in the national anthem. So rise up, remove your hats as we salute our nation's colors. Welcome back here live to Talladega for the iSCAR DeNise Design Series. If you were wondering why only I was talking, that's because Ezeckiel forgot to turn his mic on, but
Hello.
that problem has now been resolved, and he's in here as we get ourselves ready here for qualifying for the last of the 3 Dega races. Alec Daffin looks like he's the only car so far to put a lap down. His second race back after not racing for a while, and we'll see where everybody shapes up here tonight. Here's Brian Mullen, Friday night's winner for the time being on the charts, but immediately gets passed by 2 SBM cars.
Yeah, apologies about that mic issue, but now we have it resolved. But time is starting to tick down in qualifying. Got to log in those 2 laps ASAP for all these drivers on the racetrack. A top 38 spot locked yourself into tonight's event. We'll have to see on who those 38 drivers will be in. Of course, if you're outside that top 38, it's going to be a mess for you to get inside this event, because top 5 from that LCQ move themselves forward.
Well, the silver lining tonight is that there are not as many cars in the session as there were last night. Of course, in the Cup race, we had a full 62-car field, which means there were 24 cars going for 5 spots, and we all saw how that played out to basically nobody's advantage except for the people that were in front of the wreck. But I think it's only going to be about 10 or 11 cars right now. So still, we're going to have 6 or 7 people going home, but it shouldn't be not nearly as messy of an LCQ as we saw last night.
Yeah, all those 24 drivers coming into turn number 1 in that LCQ didn't even survive past turn number 1. Of course, the big wreck sparking off there just about secured that top 4. I mean, that top 5, actually, because, of course, I think it was the last car out was Sawyer St. Clair or somebody I got, but they couldn't even catch that 5th place car because they were so damaged. In the meantime, that driver's working around themselves in qualifying as of right now. Currently on top of the board, Kyler Wynn in the 084. I think he started up front row for a couple of times this week, so 084 showing his super speedway stride as we progress. Looks like less than a minute now.
Yeah, Kyler Wynn won the pole for last night's race, and Parker White, who sits second on the charts right now, started, you guessed it, in second place last night. So if this holds up over the next 45 seconds, we might have this exact same front row 2 nights in a row at the same track, which doesn't happen a whole lot, but it goes to show you how good the 2 of them are at qualifying, and we saw how good both of them ran last night. But here comes Blaze Crawford, last night's winner, to take that top spot away from both of them. So a good lap there set by the 404 to steal Kyler Wynn's pole away. But we'll see if anybody can top that 404 in these last handful of seconds.
Yep, now less than 10 seconds remaining. Drivers trying to cross the start-finish line before anything happens. Currently the last person in, Henry Clapper in the number 34. Oh, he gets moved out. Paul Granata gets himself in. We'll see if Cole Williams can get himself in at the start-finish line. He doesn't make it. So that means Sawyer St. Clair, Paul Granata survive into the race, and everybody right here in front of your screen, unfortunate for them, they will not be they will not be secure.
And Clapper has to go through the LCQ for the third time this weekend. He has not been able to qualify himself in. On Friday night, he was the first car out. On last night, he was the last car in, and now will lead us off to the green for the LCQ alongside Aaron Brown in the 151.
Casey Drake in the number 87, Ethan Harrison at number 77, he alongside of him.
Row number 3 here for the LCQ if the ticker decides to update. There we go. Daniel Falkingham makes a return here tonight in the 30, so we'll see if he can advance himself in. Currently slated as the last car in, and Cole Williams in the 42.
Row number 4 going to be Josh Patterson in the 02. Corey H. Hartz there in that 57. Holds a roll off 8th. And apologies about the ATVO issue. Looks like we're having a bit of a miscommunication, but either way.
And the last car on the grid, AJ Bain in the 8th. So we're going from a 24-car LCQ last night to just a 9-car LCQ tonight. So this will be 9 cars for 5 spots, which means 4 will not make it in. So that means I think we have 47 people in the session. So still a healthy field size, but unfortunately for 4 people, their nights are going to end early.
But just a question on who those people are going to be as we progress with this one. Apologies about my ATVO issue. It's going insane right now, so we'll get that loaded up ASAP. But in the meantime of that, if you're now just joining us here for tonight, Max Speed TV broadcasting round number 11 of the season here at Talladega.
Looks like AJ Bain in the 8 is not gridded. Oh, there he is. So now you have all 9 cars here on the grid for the start of the race, which is good. Hopefully we don't see a turn 1, lap 1 wreck like we saw last night. We can have some good competition here as we get ourselves going. And yeah, I just mentioned Henry Clapper. This is, he's been in all 3 LCQs now this weekend. And again, was the first one out on Friday and the last one in last night. Will lead us to the green, so we'll see if he can make it 2 for 3 or if we'll go 1 for 3 in advancing onto the race. I guess some people just may not be that good at initial super speedway qualifying, though if they can get themselves into the race, they can be much more competitive.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, heck, you saw LCQ drivers work themselves through the field and lead some laps during the truck event. And we'll have to see on how this will all turn out for these five who will move themselves forward from this 8-lap sprint. Corey Charts in number 57 looks like he did not grid, who won't be one of those 5 drivers to transfer forward.
And speaking of transferring from the LCQ and leading laps, if you remember one of the more recent times that Daniel Falkingham showed up here on a Sunday for the Xfinity Series, at Dover, he was the last car to advance from the LCQ and started dead last on the grid and still managed to come home as the winner. So being in the LCQ, of course, isn't ideal, but if you can be one of those top 5 to advance onto the race, of course, you still have as much of a chance to win as the other 38 that already locked themselves in.
Yep, and that is right, and that's just the opportunity that Talladega provides, of course, with the last 2 days of Brian Mullen and Blaze Crawford. Talladega's already produced some intense finishes, and here we are yet again in the Xfinity Series. We'll just have to find out on who will walk away out of this 2.66 Super Speedway as your victor here for tonight. Glad you could tune us in here for tonight's Max Speed TV event as we line up this LCQ. At number 34, Henry Clapper going to lead the field to the green.
And as they go through the tri-oval here, 8 cars going for 5 spots, so 3 nights will end early. And we are underway here. Green flag is out for 8 laps here at Talladega, and AJ Bain already trying to make that high side work, but has no help, of course, starting last.
They're looking 4 wide already as they work into 1. Falkham's going to split the middle. Cole Williams not in the mix. He finally slots himself into the the
Already
middle
3 by
side, and they're
3.
3 by 3 with this whole entire field rolling together.
Look at
Falkingham.
up the middle.
Wow, what a move.
He's got help from Cole Williams, and AJ latches onto the back of that 42. So Falkingham already to the race lead. He will clear down to the bottom as well as Cole. AJ does not go down with them, and now he's going to get a push, I believe, from Patterson here into turn 3. But Aaron Brown, that's actually Aaron Brown, and he goes down to the bottom. So the 8 car, unfortunately, with no help again. Can he file in line? Looks like he can't. As Clappert started on the pole, but now already back in that 5th spot, battling right now with AJ for 4th, and with no help for the 8, looks like he'll retake that spot.
7 laps to go at the line. Everybody on the racetrack looks like successfully logged in at least 1 lap. For AJ Bain, that number 8 will have to work himself back into line, and hopefully somebody from behind or in front of him could pull out a line to put that high side forward.
Looks like Casey Drake is going to go with him this time. Of course, that 87 needs to get himself in as well. So we'll see if that high side can materialize into anything. But they're still a bit disconnected, so I don't think they're going to get very far for the time being, as Falkingham continues to pace the field here out of turn 4.
Themselves off the corner. Cole Williams still latched onto the backside of that number 30. It's about time. It's a matter of time before that number 42, Cole Williams, might get hot and might have to pull out a line, which might open up the door for Aaron Brown to take a move to the inside. The question is, if Cole pulls out a line, will AJ even be remotely close to that number 42 to make that second line worth a shot?
AJ and Casey still the only 2 up there for right now. Nobody else has elected to go up there yet, but I still think somebody's going to. You mentioned Cole Williams getting hot. Maybe he'll decide to jump up there. But here comes AJ and Casey, and they're starting to get a bit of a run here into turn 3. Bain now up into 3rd for the time being. Let's see if he can side draft to get himself further up.
Falkingham half a car length ahead of that number 42. Looks like Williams had a sort of drag the brake. Just drag the brake just a bit, just to get a bit of air. And here comes the outside line working forward. Looks like Clappert in that number 34 is not really latched on to the tail end of that 151. He might want to take it double wide for that position.
Yeah, Clappert hit the apron in the trial. Well, that's what I was oohing and ahhing about. But thankfully, nothing happened. And now he makes the move up high and will get behind that 87 and Casey Drake. Bain and Williams still side by side for second, as Falkingham still leads here down the backstretch. I think if one more car can jump up behind Casey, AJ might be able to get a big enough run to clear perhaps into turn 1.
Clappert's best bet to lock himself inside this top 5 is to stay behind that number 87 at Casey Drake, as Falkingham going to pull a bit of a block there on that number 8 of AJ Bain, stall him out just by a moment, but this will maybe restack the high side and work itself forward as Patterson works himself into 6th. We'll see if he gets slotted behind that 87 to Casey Drake. Looks like won't. He'll be running the bottom for now. Now makes a late maneuver to the high side. Now he'll pick up Clappert in the 34, who doesn't really have a chance to make me. Oh, never mind. 3 wide.
Here we go. And it just occurred to me as well that 1st and 2nd in series points are in this LCQ. Patterson came into tonight as the points leader, and Cole Williams came into tonight 2nd in points, 25 points behind Patterson. So if one of these guys makes it in and one doesn't, it'll be a big hit to the points for one of them. But if they both miss, that could really open the door for somebody else in the points to maybe gain some ground on them.
AJ cuts off the 0-2 of Patterson. Patterson had a hole to the inside and maybe sneak it 3 wide. Looks like won't happen. And this will push the inside line forward just a bit now. The outside line starting to push forward again. Here comes AJ.
I don't know if he'll be able to clear into turn 1, but I think he's going to be able to lead this lap at the line. And indeed he does. Can he come down in front of Falkingham, though, into turn 1? Looks like the answer to that question is no. But if he can get a big enough push here from Patterson, he might be able to in turn 3.
Patterson's pushing in the middle of the corner. That's something really dangerous you don't really want to do, especially with these curved
high risk,
bumpers.
high reward.
That's right. You want to push your outside that line forward, but again,
AJ can clear now.
Yeah, he could clear coming into
Patterson
3, but wow,
yeah.
I'm surprised. AJ looks like he's going to stay the high side. There he goes.
And AJ Bain to the race lead, and the outside finally got a big enough push to put him down there. And that's really been the best way that anybody's been able to pass this weekend, has been the high side getting enough of a push for the lead car to clear, and it's just a repeat process of that. I've seen that more than any other, I guess, type of passing that you can do here this weekend. We've already seen it here twice in the LCQ. Just 2 more laps to figure out who will be the 5 that move on.
AJ's your dual 1 winner in the Cup Series will lead the field down the back straightaway. We'll see if Falkingham could pull out a line and maybe make something happen. Oh, they're starting to get a bit out of line just a bit. Now Falkingham's going to move to the high side.
Yeah, it's Falkingham. Whoops. And Cole Williams in the 42 and Patterson 1-2 in points. Both of them currently in the field, but Patterson, I think, is at a bit of a disadvantage being up high versus down low. But right now, the 42 is second on the bottom. But look at how much of a run that high side's getting. I think Falkingham and Patterson both might be able to clear into turn 1.
And we'll see about that. Maybe Aaron Brown. Oh, Falkingham goes around! And Patterson's in as well!
The entire outside line wrecks, and the points leader, Josh Patterson, is going to miss the field tonight.
Unless he could get himself going. We'll see who gets themselves going. It looks like the 30's going now.
Clappert's the last one in right now in the 34.
Oh, he's a far ways ahead of this this entire those other drivers who wrecked. So for these 3 drivers right here, all they have to do is just hold their lines and keep it straight to the start-finish line.
Yeah, and depending on where Cole Williams finishes in the race, this might cost Josh Patterson the points lead. Bain goes up to block that 42. All they have to do is keep it straight, but they're playing a risky game here as they block all over the place. And through the trial, Harrison's going to have a move here for second on Cole. They bump it.
AJ goes around!
And they all spin, but Ethan Harrison wins the LCQ. And all 4 of them are still going to make it across the line. And let's see who's the last car in. And it's going to be Clappert in the 34. So for the second night in a row, Henry Clappert is the last car to advance into the field. So every car was involved in a wreck except for Henry Clappert in that LCQ.
Luckily for him, he'll be one of those drivers transferring forward, and for that number 30, Daniel Falkingham can't pull the same maneuver like he did at Dover, start himself from last, and work himself to a victory here tonight. So that 30 is going to have to wait another week to make something of it, but whoo, oh man.
And congratulations to Ethan Harrison. I believe that's his first iSCAR win in any capacity. LCQ, main event, anything. So a good momentum boost for him as he tries to get his first overall win. We'll have a couple minutes here to decompress and I guess look over what we just saw. But do you think anybody from that LCQ is going to have a chance to win, or do you think they might get caught up in something? What do you think?
I don't know. Based on how that LCQ went, that gave us a preview on how probably the pack will race these first 20 or 30 laps. So with these how the Xfinity package works on super speedways, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have more wrecks than what we've seen the past couple of days. So we'll just have to see on how this will all work in the meantime of it.
Yeah, only 3 cautions combined between the first 2 races this weekend, which again might be really surprising to a lot of people. But we'll see if 3 times the charm in that department, or if we might see a bit of a wreck fest tonight. The ARCA race a few weeks ago was very much a wreck fest, and that actually ended under caution. So we'll see where tonight ends up playing out in between those 3.
We'll go ahead and drag in one driver into the booth. Last season's winner of that number 77 of Garrett Hess into the booth. He goes. Hey, what's up, Hess? You got a copy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Hess, you were last season's winner here in that 777, so I saw you led the majority of the Cup race. I wouldn't say majority, but you did lead laps, and you're running toward the top 5. Any differing strategy here for tonight?
Nah, bro, we're gonna go to the front like every race I've been in this week. And go to the front, stay up there, and hopefully not repeat the Cup race where I choked my pit stop.
Alright, bud. 10-4. Anybody you're working with here for tonight?
I don't think so. Just whoever's in front of me.
Alright, bud. 10-4. Garrett Hess currently sitting in, well, he hasn't logged in the lap, so he's currently blank for right now. Hess, we'll go ahead and see you coming in post-race.
Alrighty.
Currently Drivers working themselves around the racetrack. Still 2 minutes left in tonight's. 2 minutes left in warm-up as of right now. Man. I really don't know what to say. I want to do predictions, but it's just out of question that we're obviously going to get it wrong. And same situation of yesterday, warm up for all these drivers out on the racetrack. Their pit stalls are already locked for the race, so gives a chance for all these drivers to see where their pit stall is. That's something you don't want to do.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think, like I said last night, one of the key things you got to do at a track like this is know where your pit stall is and make sure that you can slow down in time in order to, make your stall. We saw quite a few people on Friday overshoot their stalls, and if you do that under green, that'll be a big problem for you in terms of where you finish.
Here's Benjamin A. White, flinging it on to pit road. Of course, practice is basically screw-around time for all these drivers since they know they're going to be racing for 75 laps, or hopefully 75 laps if they can make themselves there. They're going to have a chance to win here at Talladega. And the question is, who's going to be working with each other, and what kind of strategy are you going to opt with? Going to lay yourself toward the back for those first 50-ish laps, and after that push yourself forward? Who knows? Now just joining us here for tonight's event, the iSCAR DeNise Design Series live here on Max Speed TV. About to go green here in just about 20 seconds from now.
I think in terms of strategy, I think most of the top 5 in points will probably lay back. I think people near the cut line will probably be as aggressive as possible and try to stay out front. And for people not in points contention, I think we'll just see a mixed bag between them.
Yeah, that's right. And the clock hits the double zeros. And to the grid we go. So, that's something you don't want to do. But in the meantime of that, here we go. Getting set to go green for 75 laps here at the Talladega Super Speedway. And starting on the front row, Blaze Crawford in the 404, their Cup Series winner. Right alongside the 084 of Kyler Wynn, who played a special role in that Cup race as well.
Second front row start in a row for that 084. Parker White started second last night, starts third tonight, alongside Hunter Johnson in the 12.
Row number 3, going to be Brody Gardner rounding out the top 5. Mitch Hobbs, your Super Speedway champion. That number 89, going to be in P6.
I believe he started 6th last night as well. Row 4, Dominic Howe in the 86, and William Schmidt in the 79.
William, a couple victories here at Talladega in the Super Speedway Series. We'll see if he can pull one off here tonight. Liam Sheen in that number 1 came up short in 2nd place last night. So Tajman in that number 49 going to be starting in 10th.
Row number 6, Nick Miller in the 95 and Carson Poindexter in the 21. An SPM lockout there. Rest of the order will be shown on your screen. Pick your favorite driver and hope they win.
And there's some big names that are going to be starting toward the back. And unfortunately, one of those names is not going to be Josh Patterson, that 0-2, so he's going to lose a lot of points. But luckily, he's the points leader coming in here for tonight, so he's still going to be locked in the top 13. But regardless, it sucks for him to not make the race.
Yeah, came in 25 points up on Cole Williams, who was able to advance from the LCQ. And speaking of the LCQ, here are the 5. These are the last 2 cars to qualify in. And here's Harrison, Williams, Drake, Bain, and Clapper. And that will be your 43-car field here for tonight's race.
Race analysis is going to be shown on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. 2 2/3 of a mile here at Talladega. Track config, only one way around this racetrack unless you want to go backwards and pull a Tony Stewart. Track elevation 500 above sea level. Time of day is noon. And you see the race settings here on the bottom side, the bottom half of the panel. Pit road speed 55 miles per hour. Stages, none of them. Tire set's not going to really matter, but there's 4 of them to strategize around. And fuel window should be around 27 to 33 laps. So it should be probably a two-tire I keep saying two-tire. What am I saying? Two-stop strategy here for tonight.
Yeah, even if you short pit, you'll be close on fuel to the end. So short pitting around 27 laps both times could still get you to the end. But if we end up with green-white checkered, short pitting both those times could leave you a bit dicey in terms of fuel if we make it to at least 2 or 3 green-white checkered attempts.
Here's Garrett
But if you
Hess.
stay out for all of them, you should be fine.
Yep. I'm interested to see on how they're going to strategize here for this one, because they can short pit around, I'd say 25 laps into the run. So split the run into thirds for the 75-lap event. You'll come on a pit road every 25 laps. So lap 25 and lap 50 is when your only 2 pit stops are going to be.
I think that in particular would be a bit too dicey, though. With a 75-lap race, if there's green-white checkers, you definitely have to pit if you only do 25 and 25.
Yeah, that's right. It's just a matter of who's going to work with you with that strategy. Again, as I said, communication is going to be key here for tonight. And how you're going to strategize with your teammates and all the other drivers around you is probably going to shape out the result of this race.
Yeah, we've seen 2 pretty clean races here this weekend. Will this be another one, or maybe this is the race we see a bit more carnage, but 75 laps to find out which category it falls in?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bit more hectic than the other 2 races. With the curved bumpers and a bit more suck-up that these Xfinity cars provide, it's going to be interesting to see on how these drivers are going to handle these race cars on this 2.66 mile oval. Glad you could tune us in here live here on Max Speed TV. Round number 11 out of 20 going to go into the books as we log in 75 laps, 199 miles coming in here to Talladega. We're about to go green as the field works itself to the start-finish line. Blaze Crawford in the 404 will lead it to the green. We're up and away here at Talladega.
Pretty even start there across the line, but you see Kyle Wynn doesn't really have any help. As the 4th place car, Brody Gardner, did not get that good of a start. Already some 3 wide a bit further back. Probably some people that are trying to drop to the back, and we should see more of those out of turn 2.
Yeah, especially down the back straightaway, you'll see about, I'd say, 3-4 drivers pull themselves out of line. As you see it right there under the yellow. Trying to get themselves situated and hooked up with teammates, and of course strategize yourself for these first 20 laps. And up front though, the 404 Blaze Crawford leading where he left off in victory lane.
And I believe that 404 only led around 2 or 3 laps the entire race, but we'll see if he can lead more than that tonight. On track to lead lap number 1 unless that 084 gets a big run, and it looks like he is from the 12 of Johnson. So at the line, it's going to be fairly close, but it looks like it's going to be that 404.
There was a total of 3 blown motors the last time we were at a super speedway. Of course, now the tape lowered down from 32, now 25. Will give everybody a bit of more leverage to work around as we complete lap number 2. But some things you have to watch here for this race is engine temperatures, and these engine temperatures on these Xfinity machines are probably the worst out of the 3 vehicles we run here in iSCAR.
Yep, and even in that 8-lap LCQ with only 9 cars, we saw people peeking out their noses, try to cool them off. So just a short amount of time like that, just pushing too long can easily set that engine in a place where you don't want it. Still side by side at the line. I don't expect they're going to get 3 wide very early on in the race, but in the later stages, we'll definitely start to see it more.
Kyler clears that 404 of Crawford. He'll move himself down to the bottom side and open up the door for that number 12, Hunter Johnson. Mitch Hobbs in that number 89. He's going to be latched onto the backside of him. Here comes Sheen as well as he works himself inside the top 5. Dominic Howe in that 86. He'll move himself 4th in line as we're side by side for the lead down the back.
Johnson has the bit of an advantage into 3, has a nose above that 084 but cannot clear. So Howard should be able to get that advantage back out of turn 4. Bit of 3 wide. It looks like Mitch Hobbs has gone out of line, and he might be falling to the back here. Got a blinker around, looks like 10th or 12th place, but hopefully that does not show to be a big problem throughout the race. and Kyler will lead his second lap of the night.
Outside line really not stacked up, but they're staying stagnant. Oh, got a wreck! Big one!
Oh my gosh! One car flying through the air, and a huge wreck on lap 4 brings us our first caution of the night. Hunter, Rupp, and Moore all involved, and I don't know who that car was that flew through the air, but that was a massive, massive hit.
We both said it. This race was going to be a bit messier than the previous two that we saw, and right off the bat, one car flying through the air on lap number 4.
Is that Gretz? That's who got the attention on here on the camera. Looks like Connor's got hooked in the 44, and up the track the 017 goes, and his car disappears in midair. There's Rupp, there's Connors, Ethan Harrison, the LCQ winner, he's collected in that. And more cars than that. We got to get another look to see who else ended up being collected. Ooh, big hit for that pink car. I don't know who that is.
Might have been either Sertage or
I think Hess.
Hess. Yeah, that was Hess.
Ooh, yeah, that's Garrett. There's the 36 of Benjamin. There's the hit by the 017. Bethune in the 05. There's the 44 still trying to gather it up. I don't know what exactly precipitated that. I think the 017 may have hooked the 44 here.
Yeah, it just did. And of course, Benjamin gets collected, and...
Whoa, AJ!
Wow.
I think he went underneath Gretz there. That was close.
Oh, you got lucky. My goodness. So, drivers probably gonna maybe fling themselves down on the pit road, maybe to top it off. Here they come. That's a messy way to spark off this 75 lap event.
I can't say I'm surprised, but unfortunate nonetheless.
That's right. Drivers screening themselves off of pit road. Wouldn't recommend to come down onto pit road. And oh man, so looks like top 7 stay themselves out. So it's going to be Hal, Hobbs, Miller, Grindle, and Sertage, Blake Kennedy, and Kyler Wynn all staying out. Kyler actually in and out really quickly. Looks as though a 5.33 second pit stop, just hopping off in fuel and getting himself out first.
Yeah, Sawyer St. Clair stayed out, but Kyler had such a quick pit stop, he still managed to get out in front of him. So it's like 8 cars staying out, one of whom disconnected from the rest. But with only 5 laps in, I mean, I think that's an easy decision to stay out, but you always want to have as much fuel in the tank as possible, especially at a track like this.
Still think it's going to be a 2-stop strategy from this point forward. I just don't see these drivers making it all the way with just 1 stop. You're going to have to stretch it fairly far to even be remote to that halfway point. Pull up the calculator here. Trying to see how the fuel strategy would go. So if we take the green flag on probably with 67 laps to go, you're gonna have to pit with around 33 laps to go, and that's as far as you could stretch it. So it's gonna be close, but of course you're consuming a lot of fuel just being on the throttle 24/7. So if you want to make it a 1-stop strategy, come down on a pit road, top it off, and hopefully and just lay yourself back and not run toward that top 10. So yeah, one of the contenders who was taken out fairly early, Garrett Hess in that 777. Unfortunate for him, it seems as though his hopes of going 2 in a row are gonna come to a close. And about to go green yet again. Lap 7 out of 75 in the books, and already a big wreck and taking out a good portion of the field. Up front, though, that number 86 is Dominic Howe. He's going to lead the field to the green. Top 10, Howe, Hobbs, Miller, Mon, Wynn, Kennedy, White, Broughton, Crawford, and Clapper. iSCAR scoots itself down onto pit road. A lot of drivers, seems as though they've worked themselves back onto pit road to top it off with fuel. Hence why you see a long single file train from turn 4 all the way to the start-finish sign. I mean, all the way in the entrance at the tri-oval. And they stack themselves up 2 by 2. Got to go on green because of the new super speedway rule. For Dominic Howe and that number 86, he'll lead the field to the charge. Back up and away we go. We're up and away here on lap number 8. Wynn will work himself up high, pick up the 89 of Mitch Hobbs down the back straightaway. 3 wide action, as it seems as though the 55 of Brody Gardner is left out to dry off the restart. They start to stack themselves up as Brody finally slots in behind. Looks like the 79 of William Schmidt. Never mind that, that's actually the 75 of Blake Kennedy. They work themselves into 3 and 4 off the final corner. Dominic Howe clears that second row. We'll see if Kyler Wynn can get a run.
At 404 trying to split the middle, and he ends up forcing Sartaj out of line. You just mentioned that 75 of Blake Kennedy. He was 4th coming out of the final turn in last night's race, but couldn't quite get there. But still ended up with a top 5 finish. So I think he's trying to go top 5 in all 3 races this weekend, which would be great for him. And look at AJ Bain. He advanced from the LCQ. He's trying to get up in this top 10 as one car goes way down onto the apron. I don't know if he got hooked or he was going to the back, but he will lose spots regardless.
Kyler clears to the low side, cuts in front of the 86 of Dominic Howe as he works side by side for the second spot. It's now Mitch Hobbs in the 89 and 404 of looks like Blaze Crawford as looks like Blake shoots up the racetrack. Now filling his shoes is going to be the 095 of Parker White, as now Omar Diallo, I think in that number looks like 19 machine, or no, he's in the 18. Will now follow in 4th in line on the high side.
Here comes Mitch. He's almost even with Kyler. He won't be able to clear, of course, into 1. But that high side already prevailing once again as they try to get going. And they got a good amount of cars up there right off the restart. Looks like 5 strong for now. And I think Brody might be jumping up there now out of 2.
Work themselves on the back straightaway. It seems as though there's a big separation around where Casey Drake is. Here we go. 3 wide action.
Blaze.
404 Blaze. Works himself up to the high side. Down low goes Sertaj, but that's way farther back. No effect to that 404. Never mind that. Sertaj sort of plowing himself on the bottom side. He'll work himself inside this top 10. As up front, Kyler Wynn attempts to fan out. Looks like Dominic Howe, but he's now left out to dry. That move up there to the high side has nobody to pick him up. And never mind that. Here comes Mitch Hobbs with a run.
And out of nowhere, look at Nick Roten in the 13. He's up in this top 5 now for the first time all weekend. We'll see if he can get himself a good finish here tonight, but already with a strong start here to tonight's race.
Yeah, nice run for him as we get stacked up 3 by 3. Never minded that. It looks like that third line didn't precipitate correctly. But Diallo and Brody Gardner, never mind. It looks like Nick Roten's going to drop himself down to the low side. So this will jam up the inside line just a bit. Dominic Howell is trying to play Dale Jr. right now. Blocks the middle side now. Drops down.
And look at the third one with Diallo, Crawford, and Gardner. They're starting to gain some traction here on these lower two packs. I think they may need 1 or 2 more cars to really gain some momentum to get up there. But they're already looking pretty strong. And contact between Diallo and Parker White, a near disaster here for this top 10. And Mitch will jump up to block that third line.
Oh, they go 4 wide across the start-finish line. That was a bad move by Mitch Hobbs to block that third lane. And he's probably going to get sandwiched and scrambled. But looks like he files in line.
And he gets picked up by Sartaj behind him in the 49. So we're still 3 wide, but briefly 4. Brody decides to go down behind Sartaj, and that looks like will end the third line here for now.
Yeah, that was not smart by that number 89 of Hobbs to block that third line. I don't know if he was trying to get out of the way, but if you want to get yourself out of the way, you better have that third line clear. And it wasn't, and they took it 4 wide around him, so Mitch is going to have to reside. Oh, never mind, he now pulls out a line for Brody Gardner to take him in sight. Mitch will drop outside of this top 10, most likely.
And Dominic will lead once again at the line, but here comes Kyler up the outside once again with help from Parker White. He cannot clear into 1, but that outside line has been pretty strong for the entirety of the race, and even though that third line got going a bit, I think the middle groove when it's 3 wide is the best of them all.
Yeah, I agree. As they work down the back straightaway, just 2 solid lines, nobody really peeking up there, and less dropping back. Kyler now drops to the low side. Working themselves in the 3.
I think Brody's trying to get the nose a bit cooler there, and that'll stall the outside, at least for the time being. But can they mount a charge here in the trial vault?
Oh!
Whoa.
Benjamin A. White in that number 36. He was involved in that first caution, and seems as though he still has enough speed to make something off of it. But he'll get swamped as he works himself to the high side and out of harm's way. Seems as though there's way more scrambling than what we saw there for these the past 2 races. Now drivers who could, I think it's easier for drivers to weave themselves through the pack in this package. See, like, as in the one's case of Liam Sheen out of nowhere, he now works himself now 6th. As he washes up just a bit, Diallo fills right behind him as now Sertage in that number 49 will be in 9th place. And
I think... Look,
you can go ahead.
I think Liam is probably the most determined driver in this entire field here tonight. We saw him... Oh, and the lap car stays out on the racetrack, and Nick Miller with a near miss on him. Hopefully they don't wreck, but I don't know why that lapped car did not move down to the apron, and that's going to disrupt this entire lead pack, and the caution is being displayed. I don't know if it's for this or for an unrelated incident, but it would not surprise me if somebody ran into him. I don't know why that lap car didn't move down to the bottom, and it looks like Ethan Harrison has some trouble here, and it looks like he got run over or ran into that lapped car. But what a bizarre wreck here.
Oh, they started checking up, so yeah, Ethan got ran into as they were...
Like
Hunter gets clipped!
Yeah, and he clips the 12. The 12 holds onto it. Yeah, looks like that was Bridger Olsen in the 59 that got into the back of that 77. But I don't know who that slow car was, but I cannot fathom why they didn't move low. And you see how close the 95 was to hitting him. I mean, this reminds me of Kevin LePage at Talladega back in 2008, where he just merged right up the track and wrecked the whole top 15. But thankfully, it looks like only 2 or 3 cars ended up with some problems. But that could have been so much worse.
I mean, Johnson just held bottom, and Kyler, he swung himself to the apron.
I mean, you see how slow he's going, though.
Right.
I mean, why didn't he just go down onto the apron? He had ample time to and just chose to park himself there, and the entire top 20 could have literally been taken out in that, but thankfully, disaster averted.
Unfortunate for that number 12 of Johnson. Another wreck involved, as well as the 77 of Ethan Harrison. Luckily for those two drivers, seems as though their nights aren't destroyed, but they're going to be hurt for right now as these drivers work themselves down on the pit road.
And this should bring everybody down.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Especially at this point of the race, and I think you could one-stop it from this point forward.
Agreed. It looks like we're going to have 59 to go. And if you stay out for the maximum pit stop window, which is 33 laps, that will definitely be a one-stop race and should be enough, even if green-white checkers do occur.
Berge in the number 83 stays himself out, so he'll pick up a bonus point. And first one in and out, going to be Parker White. As, yeah, there's a certain threshold in how you want to interpret lap cars, but as a lap car, if you're that slow, you're either right up against the barrier or right under that yellow line and out of harm's way. But Austin selected to go. He selected to go on the just stay down low, and I mean we saw in the Cup race, just some drivers just staying down to the bottom side, but I mean they weren't that slow out on the racetrack, and I think with the whole field approaching him that fast, that's why Kyler flung to the apron as fast as he could.
I mean, of course, he had every right to be where he was, but I think he ended up in the one place that nobody in the field wanted him to go, and we saw how many cars almost hit him, but thankfully nobody did. And the significance here with Berge staying out is, you know, with Frimpong and Mulrooney not in the league anymore, this puts him he's still 13th in the chase, but this bonus point, you know, we always say it, even 1 point could make a big difference. It seems cliche at this point, but it still rings true. So this 83 taking this opportunity to pick up that bonus point, a golden opportunity if he ever saw one. And it looks like it's going to pit here. So a smart maneuver there, so he picks up the point. Oh, nope, looks like he won't. Thought about it. So this will put him on a different strategy than the rest of the field. So if this thing goes green for a bit, that 83 is going to be at a bit of a disadvantage compared to the rest of the field. And of course, it seems smart now from to pick up that bonus point, but are you picking up 1 point now potentially at the expense of maybe 5 or 10 later?
In my opinion, I think Berge staying out is actually going to hit him hard long run-wise, because he stayed himself out now 12 laps. He's going to have to pit earlier than the rest of these drivers on the racetrack, and the time when he hits pit road, he's still going to have to do one more stop. So if this thing goes green...
yeah, he might be in trouble.
That's right. And not only that, who's going to meet him on pit road for the time when he has to come in?
Yeah, that's another thing you have to consider. Of course, again, I can totally understand why he's staying out for that extra point, but again, is he doing so at the expense of 5-10 points if he ends up in a bad strategy situation that he can't recover from?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a short-term strategy for right now for that number 83, but heck, we've had 2 cautions in these first 18 laps. Our most cautions this week for the Super Speedway races have been 2, and we're already set to pass that, so maybe the 83, if Berge could play it right, if he catches a caution before he has to hit pit road, it might play to his favor. Here we go. Race summary here on the bottom right of your screen. Lap number 17 out of 75. 58 laps to go. 2 cautions, 3 caution laps so far. I'm so blessed with the iRacing new caution system on super speedways. You only get 2 caution laps per caution, or 2 to 3. In the meantime of that, though, the number 83, Joe Berge, will lead the field to the green.
Green, green, green.
Here we go. Whoa, there's a wreck right behind! Or there was. Not sure there with Diallo and Miller, but there was a lot of contact around that area.
And look at how much it slowed everyone up.
Yeah, they got to get reorganized back there, or else they're going to run into each other once they get up to speed. They're still, looks like they now get organized, but there's a big separation between where that scuffle took place versus where the rest of the field is now. But in the meantime of that, Joe Berge leading this field off the green.
And here comes Parker White and Dominic up the high side. They're starting to get a run off the restart, but the 83 still leads for right now. But I think that 095 is going to have a good run into the trial and into turn 1.
Here's the 36 of Benjamin A. White. Was sort of in front of that big scuffle.
Looks like we have 2 distinct packs, but they're still pretty close together.
Yeah, I don't think... I'd still determine this as like still one big pack, but there's a decent separation between the front end versus the back end, but I think they're still going to reconnect within these upcoming laps.
Yeah, it shouldn't take long. And it looks like they're only a couple tenths behind, too, so that should not be a very long duration pack there. Looks like one car did lose the draft, though, unfortunately, so that car's going to be in some trouble for a bit.
AJ Band in the number 8 worked himself through the LCQ, now 3rd on the high side. Now joined in by some more drivers who were starting toward the back, as Brody Garner, he's going to split the middle. This will boot Rosero out, who I was going to talk about. And here comes the, looks like the 04, Paul Granada, he too. Oh, he hits the apron.
Yeah, you can only do that so many times before you may end up causing a caution, so hopefully that's the last time that happens. You saw Paul almost pick up his first iSCAR win at Eldora a few weeks ago, but came up just short in second, so still looking for another win here tonight.
Parker White trying to mount up a charge on the high side as Diallo splits the middle. Benjamin A. White on the bottom side of that exchange. And to the high side getting booted out. I think that's the 42 or one of the Toyota Supras, as AJ is going to make an aggressive move to the high side. 3 wide, but nobody goes with him.
And that's going to send him all the way to the back. He's going to probably lose at least 10 or 15 spots if he can't slot himself in the next couple seconds. There's a bit of a gap there with Casey Drake, but that gap may already be closed. And there you see that 8 continue to fall through the field and way out of the top 10.
He's still falling.
Parker's cleared. Oh, no, he didn't. And he still can't get in line. He's going to go from looks like around 6th to probably around 25th in about half a lap.
Look at the push there by Kyler Wynn. He pushed Berge enough so Kyler could get clear on the high side. So maybe to the front goes the 084. We'll just have to see if Mitch Hobbs could hook up to the back end of that number 83. And looks like they were out of line at the start-finish line, so this will put Kyler up front, and Parker now first on the high side yet again as they're 3 wide with Casey Drake.
Yeah, I think the 87 might be dropping a bit to the back, and but again, we've already seen it a couple times tonight. The best way to pass, and looks like Berge is going to drop to the apron out of absolute nowhere, so that's going to stall the inside briefly, and this should allow Parker White to clear to the bottom, and there he goes. And Dominic looks like he can't clear, so the 095 here back to the lead.
Berge forced himself up the racetrack. They're just about 2-3 wide around this area, but the 83 of Berge probably has to hit pit road sometime later, hence why he's dropping to the rear. But up front, though, some new contenders working themselves forward. How about the 08 of Dylan Basin, 3rd on the high side, alongside with Sheen right behind him in tow. So, some new contenders working themselves inside this top 10, but who knows what could happen within these next 50 laps.
Yeah, still fairly early in the race. Only about a third of the way through right now. So still plenty of time to see what ends up happening. As Parker still leads the bottom, and I think Dominic's going to have a good big enough run here to potentially clear into 3, as he's getting a big shot from Brody Gard in the 55, and there goes the 86 down to the bottom. So new leader, Dominic Cow, here at Talladega.
Yeah, it just seems like a pattern. Just as you said, the high side just clears and drops themselves down to the bottom, and after that, another high side run, they'll clear down to the bottom. Another high side run, clears down to the bottom, and then 3-wide action with Omar Diallo as one of the work machines gets booted out of line, and that was Henry Clapper in the number 34, but this time he's joined in with the 95 and Nick Miller, as Diallo makes an aggressive move to the low side, cuts off the 16 of Henry Tabor, but as you mentioned, pre-race, it's just a pattern of that high side getting runs and working themselves to the front.
And down the back, Brody's got a run on Dominic. He will not be able to clear, but he's side by side now with his teammate Dylan Basin right behind. And there's Liam Sheen in the 1. I was going to mention him before that big wreck happened, but I think Liam might be the most determined driver in this entire field. After all that blocking he did last night, it ended up coming just short in second. So that 1 definitely wants to finish P1 here tonight. And look at Diallo forcing himself up the middle.
Diallo is probably the most aggressive out of this whole entire field. As of right now, he splits the middle and boots out the 70 of Grindle, now joined in with the 23 of Rosero. AJ Bain also there in tow as we're starting to stack up 3x3. Here comes the high side, and it looks like Harry leading it.
And looks like Renato will get out of the way down into the apron. Rosero got 3rd in last night's race, so we know he can run good here at Talladega. Can he repeat that tonight as he tries to lead that 3rd line with Harry?
Not really sure, but man. Oh, looks like Dylan's going to go up to the high side, so this will drag that 3rd line even more forward. So probably the most organized these drivers have been 3 wide, but now since Basin had no help in that 3rd line, he really started to drop back. Speaking of dropping back, Casey Drake really slow there on the low side of the racetrack. Bit of confusion there.
I think Liam thought about it and then chose against it. And looks like a bit of a disconnect on the high side. Now that 3rd line drastically falling apart. There goes Rosero all the way down to the bottom. Finds an opening there. And here we see another slow car. Hopefully this one gets on the apron this time and doesn't stay out on the racing surface. As Gard, and looks like Austin will stay on the high side this time. So thankfully it looks like we'll not be in the way of anybody. But we're going to split at 4 here in the middle of the turn.
They made it.
And we are good. And here comes Brody up high.
Yeah, Brody Garner in that number 55. He too could play his cards out right and come out in victory lane here, as long as he gets enough help from the driver who was probably the key on how that cup race finished. That number 1 of Liam Sheen. And here comes the 18 of Omar Diallo into the picture. And here comes as well the 83 of Joe Berge. Even though he dropped himself back earlier, seems as though that number 83 regained a bit of strength, and now he works himself forward. But again, he's in a bad position. To the contrast of all these drivers, the 83 of Berge stayed himself out that last caution. So I'm just curious when he's going to hit pit road.
Yeah, and the longer this thing goes green, the worse it is for Joe, because again, he may end up having to pit all by himself with nobody with him, and that might allow or cause him to potentially lose a lap if he ends up having to pit himself and can't get anybody's draft anywhere.
Brody not really wanting to pinch down that 86, just enough to keep his line and force momentum to go to that 2nd lane. But speaking of lanes, here comes the 49. Sertaj Mon is going to have a charge on the high side. Looks like Liam's going to go with him. And they're 3x3, 5 rows deep. Oh, boy.
And I don't think Liam can clear, but this is the first time we've really seen that 3rd line able to get even with those top 2, but it looks like they're getting a bit disconnected, and just as quickly as they got up there, looks like they're going to file back a bit now.
Yeah, it seems as though Sheen's move up to the high side jammed that outside line up. Sertaj had a nice pusher, that number 30, I mean not 39, but the 95 of Nick Miller. And,
Brody cleared for the lead.
but
There's
here comes
Diallo.
Diallo.
And as quickly as that third line formed, it is pretty much gone. As Sertaj files himself in line, or is trying to, and now Liam's all by himself up there in hill drop, which looks like 5-10 spots.
Yeah, it seems as though the third line can form up, but the drivers who are pulling out to make it 3 wide are stalling that high side. Example there with that number 1 of Liam Sheen. He wanted to go 3 wide, but Sertaj just stalled out because he didn't really want to push the issue too hard, so that outside line fell apart.
And Diallo goes up way, I think he might be dropping to the back now.
Whoa!
Oh! And I think he was changing his mind, but Nick Miller was already there, and those two end up making some contact.
Car on the apron.
That's Blake Kennedy, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Close call there with Diallo and Miller. That could have taken out a lot of people.
Yeah, Blake, with that move to the apron, it seems as though... Oh, looks like there's a second pack led by the 41 of... No, not the 41, but the 21. All those SPM drivers just sort of laying back, so that number 75 still has some company.
Yeah, that's a smart move there, I think. That could potentially be in their favor later on in the race, but Brody and Nick are not hanging out in that pack. They're battling here for the lead, as the 55 looks like he's going to lose that lead here to the 86 of Dominic Howe, and there's Miller. Looks like he's going to take it 3 potentially at the line.
Dominic drops himself down to the low side, so now he'll pick up the 55 of Gardner. Here comes the 404 of Blaze Crawford, and we'll see what Dylan could do in that number 08 as they work themselves into 2. AJ drops himself back. Here comes that third lane.
So we went green at lap 16, so this is about halfway now, but for that 33-lap window that opens up. So we should start to see people come down pit road probably around maybe 47, 48, 49, around there is when we'll probably start to see those green flag stops happening. But for Joe Burgee in the 83 specifically, if he hasn't come down pit road yet, reminder that he still has to, and if a caution does not come out before around lap 48, he's going to really be in a tough spot for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that's right. It seems as though that number 83 strategy of staying out is gonna probably kill him long run wise. So he'll have to probably pick up a caution or two to get back into contention. Luckily, an undamaged car on that number 83.
Nick jumps up to the high side with Diallo. And here comes Blaze up high. Last night's winner trying to take the lead back after winning the pole for tonight's race. Has some help from Basin there in the 08. Near contact between Gardner and Crawford in the middle of the turn there, but thankfully does not result in anything. And now Basin's in a sucker hole here, but Diallo jumps down to help him, and that's going to force Nick up high with 4 wide here at the line.
4 wide at the wire, and looks like Miller in the 95 is going to scoot himself now in the line. Still 4 wide as AJ shoves himself to the high side of his own teammate, that number 6, not Benjamin, but Max Urich. Now Max files in behind Miller, and...
The inside line disconnected completely.
And that 89 of Hobbs, he's playing a dangerous game of not using his spotter. He's...
Crawford to the lead.
Yep, Crawford to the lead in the meantime of that, but you saw there off of turn number 2, Mitch held the middle of the racetrack, and he was clear down to the bottom, and that driver who was shoved up on the high side, if you were Dylan Basin's case, you would expect that 89 of Hobbs to be down against the yellow, but he held his line in the middle, and Dylan nearly came down on him, so Mitch he's still listening to his spotter, but he's just wanting to hold his line through the center of the corner, and that in turn might make a bit of spotter confusion, because your spotter is only spotting, oh, car down low, or car up high, not, oh, car up in the third lane, or car in the right up against the yellow. And I know there's a lot of spotters. I mean, there's a lot of these drivers who have spotters, and maybe the 89 of Mitch Hobbs might be one of those drivers.
Crawford still leads that bottom here out of turn 4. Dominic in tow. And here comes Dominic up high trying to take the lead away. And I think he might get a good run here in the trial oval, and he should be able to get that lead back.
Yeah, it looks like that outside line had potential. And Dominic Howe took the bait. To work himself up high. Until the lead he goes!
Whoa! And Dominic onto the apron, and they hold on. And Liam overtakes Blaze there for second. Another close call there, though, and Mitch gets shuffled up high, and he will drop down to the back.
That was close. Luckily, they got back in line, and seems as though nobody lost a lot of momentum in which it could disrupt that whole entire front pack. But they keep themselves straight for now.
Looks like Granada's going to pick up Mitch Hobbs there on that high side, but they're still falling pretty far back. Nearing the halfway point here in tonight's race. 2 cautions so far in the race. Only 5 so far for the entire weekend. As Dominic and Tyler side by side here for the race lead. Pole sitter Blaze Crawford sits in 5th. And Liam Sheen, runner-up from last night, trying to take that lead away now from that 86 and the 084.
Coming up on a couple of lap cars. Not sure who they are, but they're probably going to have to go out of the way of these leaders. Of course, there's now a clear third lane for drivers just to sit up against the barrier.
Looks like it's Ethan Harrison and someone else.
Yeah, Ethan Harrison, and I think that's Jeremiah Bethune. Ethan will drop himself down low as Bergie has to pit, so yeah, there goes the 83 of Bergie.
Don't speed. That's the last thing you want to do now.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Two by two. It's like 7 rows deep. And if you want to hit pit road, you have to hit pit road, I'd say, in about 8 laps from now. And that'll push you all the way to lap number 48 out of 75, which will leave you about 27-ish laps to go. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it's 27 to 33 for the window.
Right.
As Kyra clears for the lead in to turn 3. Outside's a bit disconnected there, and Liam's going to get... Oh, and Nick just faked out Diallo there, and will stay behind Liam Sheen, so that 18 will now drop some spots.
Yeah, not really sure about that maneuver there, but in the meantime of that, they go... Oh, a close call there with Yurik. Now clears that 49 of Sertage, but Sertage... Max nearly turned himself in front of that number 49 as Liam gets left out to dry up on the high side, so nowhere to go for that number 1 machine as they work down the back. And it's still been either... This whole top 5 has been relatively unscathed. They've been running toward there this whole entire run. We haven't seen some new contenders like Bracero, AJ, Max, Sawyer, Sertage, or Nick Roten. We saw Nick Roten temporarily up there inside that top 5, but he dropped back.
Looks like he's around 15th or so now.
Yeah, there he is, that black machine. And here comes the 04 Granada to the high side of him. So all these drivers have been relatively unshuffled for right now, but I think we're going to see the same thing as what we saw in the Cup race, or maybe the truck event, in which once pit stops do cycle through, you're going to see some new contenders work forward.
Yeah, differing strategies will definitely shake up this field, but again, still probably another 5, 6, 7 laps before we start to see some guys come down the pit lane.
83 or Bergie, next one to get lapped. Luckily, he's undamaged, so he could easily scoot himself and latch himself to the tail end of this lead draft.
Bergie's issue is, again, he has to pit again. And once all these guys come down, they don't.
Yeah, but Bergie, he could use this lead draft as a bit of an option to save a bit of fuel. So if Bergie could slot himself in line right behind all these drivers, he's going to be able to save a bit of fuel and maybe, hopefully, make it all the way to the end. But the question is for that number 83 of Berge. Once all these drivers hit pit road, he's going to be left by himself out on the racetrack. So who's going to hook up with him? Who knows?
I'll be totally honest, though. Whenever these guys pit, it might serve Berge well to actually come down and pit with them. Because depending on when everybody else pits, he still may end up being the first car to lap down if he pits with the leaders.
Whoa!
And, oh, man, and Brody almost gets hooked in front of the whole field. But yeah, if Berge decides to come down with the leaders and he still ends up the first car to lap down, if another yellow comes out, he'll still get a free pass in that scenario. So that could end up being what he does, and that would be smart on his part if he does do that.
Third line precipitates after that contact with Omar and Brody. That was a nice save by Brody in the middle of the corner, but this in turn has made the top three clear of each other. And 404 Crawford's going to take the bait to go to the high side and maybe gun for this top spot.
Doesn't have enough for run to get it, but I think down the backstretch he might be able to get there. And Tyler leads another one.
Yeah. We're getting close to pit stops here in a moment, so
Next 5 or 6 laps, yeah.
In about 5 laps from now, as Crawford clears down for Kyler Wynn, will move himself to the front. But as you mentioned, it's either 5 laps from now. Oh!
Whoa!
That was a late block there by the 404 of Crawford. And I cannot believe they saved it.
And Kyler should be able to clear here into turn 1 as well.
I think we're going to wreck before pit road even opens.
Yeah, they're looking pretty antsy. We've already had 2 close calls here in just the last lap alone. Will they be able to do it a third time, or will the third time be the one that causes a bunch of cars to wreck?
Oh man, they're pushing hard.
They're getting really, really dicey there.
Yeah, and this is, I wouldn't say typical. But, I mean, they're trying to set themselves up for, oh my gosh, what a move there by Kyler to move himself down low. But they're just trying to set themselves up for pit stops and trying to gain as much position on the racetrack before they have to hit pit road. So if you're the first one on pit road, of course, you're going to be one of those first drivers out as long as you don't speed. So now everybody toward this middle portion of the pack is starting to single out. And they're probably going to be planning to go on a pit road here soon, as drivers just going to get in line, and we'll see what they do.
Something that these drivers have to consider as well while they're trying to get down to the bottom is where their pit stall is on pit road. Because if you're one of those first handful of pit stalls on pit road, you have to slow down at a much faster rate of speed than the cars that have stalls further up on pit road do. So if you end up near the front and you have one of the first pit stalls, and you slow down more than the car behind you is, you can end up getting ran right over and potentially end up causing a wreck on the pit road entrance.
Well, they stay out this one. I mean, they stay out this lap. But yeah, you see the outside line is completely gone now. So for Brody Garner, AJ Bain, all these drivers in this position, sort of floating on the high side, trying to get yourself in the line. But if I were them, I would hit pit road the next wave, because with this amount of cars that are planning to go on a pit road right now, it's gonna be looking messy for this wave coming on a pit road. So they're 30 laps into the run, so it's now the time for them to hit pit road.
And I was just mentioning those cars that have one of the first couple pit stalls. AJ Bain in that 8 advanced from the LCQ. So he's only the second or third stall on pit road. Looks like we have our first couple takers here of the night. Looks like some of the Supreme cars are going to pit together. And that is a big lockup, and that is going to be for sure be a speeding penalty for Max Zierich in the 6. But AJ is going to have to really play his cards carefully here as Brody clears down for the lead. So AJ is going to have to slow down a lot more than the cars pitting around him do, and hopefully that doesn't end up causing an incident.
Not only that, he's stuck on the second lane. If those drivers right behind him, that number 8 of AJ Bain comes down from that second lane, oh, he's going to get ran over, because usually typical super speedway
he's dropping
etiquette.
back now.
Yeah, now the 8 drops back, but in super speedway etiquette, you want to be against the yellow line. You don't want to pit from the second lane or else you're going to run into some people. But here we go. Pit road is aiming to go open.
There we go.
Oh, man. We're going to see some people run into each other.
Way low. This might be a problem. They're going to enter almost 4 wide on the pit road. This is going to be really close here. Somebody hit the cone. That might have been Dominic.
Oh, Paul hits the inside wall. Looks like he's going to get slowed down in time. He's going to have to back it up.
Yeah, they may not be able to change his left side tires there, so that's going to be a big loss of time there for the 04.
As well as Omar. So look how far Omar overshot pit road. As you see, the SPM drivers right behind hit pit road, but this whole pack right here, they stayed themselves out, and seems as though they're more organized than I thought they would be. But they're definitely gonna have to hit pit road next time.
I think Burgee pit with those lead lap cars, which is a smart thing to do. So now he'll be on the same cycle as everyone else again, and he should be the first car lap down still.
Here comes the rest of the guys.
Here comes the rest of them.
Oh, there's Bergie in the 83. Oh, looks like he'll stay out.
Oh, I thought he was gonna pit with them. Well, that's I don't know about that.
Here's AJ. Oh, you just mentioned it. Perfect call right there.
And that's going to cost him some valuable time. Hopefully he can still be in the draft, but I don't think he's going to be. He's probably going to get swallowed up by that bigger pack that already pit.
Yeah, and speaking of bigger pack, they're trying to get reformed, and man, it seems as though there's some drivers who took some really risky gambles. And here we go. These are drivers going to work themselves out. Alec Daffin, AJ Bain, after that overshoot, he's going to be stuck with him.
One of them.
Sertage. And it seems as though the 6 of Yerk did go, he did go maybe a lap down. No, he didn't.
Yeah, I still think Burgess should have pit with those lead lap cars, but now he's going to be in an even tougher spot, because now he's in a situation where he's going to have to pit again while still being a lap down, and that's not the way you want to end up approaching the final part of the race at Talladega.
Look at these big line of cars. Oh man, this is good. This is dangerous. With all these cars merging up and such, drivers got to communicate with each other and how they want to reform the pack. Do you want to stop and push the cars in front of you, or do you want to? Yeah. Do you want to swing out to the high side?
Yeah, believe it or not, with smaller packs like this, there's as great of a chance of a wreck happening with the pack like that as there are 3x3x3. Because a simple miscommunication between 2 drivers trying to go for the same place could instantly cause a wreck amongst these small ones. And we'll see if this second pack can start to catch that smaller one ahead of them.
Yeah, I think there's going to be 19 cars left in this main pack. This top spot held by Kyler Wynn, they got to get 2x2. It's faster to go 2x2 than it is single file because you're only having one line of momentum pushed forward. And now they go 2x2. Sertage in that 49 is going to offer the second pack a bit of draft, as well as Michael Bracero. And here comes the second pack. They're working together. It's like the drivers who didn't hit pit road right are everybody from 20th-ish on back, but it's a 5-car pack up front. And we have to scroll back 2 seconds to Sertage Mon, who's by himself, who's just about to get swamped.
Yeah, and you see Rosero is already getting past now, so that 23 should easily be able to latch on as now Sertage gets passed here by Sheen, Schmidt, and Crawford, and others.
Out front, it's Basin now. But we have to keep our eye on that pack. That second pack is starting to get really organized now. And they're probably going to start to eat up this gap between them. It's 3.3 seconds, so it's not like a big gap. It's a relatively decent gap, but again, it could be still made up for these next 25 laps. You just got to work with each other.
And this top pack, single file again. And that second pack looks like it's just around 3 seconds behind this top one. And there's some slower cars, I think, that are grouped together ahead of this lead pack.
Oh yeah, so this front pack could sniff this lead, could sniff the draft onto these lap cars, so they could propel forward.
That's Yurik and Hunter Johnson.
And After the speeding there by that number 6 and Max Urich, it seems as though he's going to be probably going a lap down here soon. And the gap between Kyler and Liam is 3.3, so...
Look at how big of a pack that is now.
Yeah,
There's more of them there now. I'm
surprised they're not going double file. They got to go double file. It's faster to go double file than it is single file. Here's this lead draft. They're going to sniff off of these lap cars, so this will add on 2 more cars onto this this 5-car pack. Now they're starting to take it 2x2. So now that's William Schmidt, who works up high with, seems as though the 121 of Sawyer St. Clair as these drivers toward the back. You don't want to take it 3 wide. Just get yourself organized enough to be faster than that first pack.
And Clappert's going to get left out here. And looks like this 5-pack's going to go around the slower cars of Urich and Hunter, but the 6 and the 12 will be able to just blend right into this pack. It looks like they'll probably just tag along right behind Kyler Wynn.
And this is 2 more cars added for this first pack, and right in front of that 08 is another pack, so they're starting to actually pull away now by 4 seconds over this big pack right behind. So this lead pack is starting to grow. Not only that, they're catching lap cars at a good enough time.
That's, I think, Yellow and Howe.
Oh, they wrecked!
Oh, no, they wreck! And Johnson saves it, but one car goes down to the inside wall. And I don't know if that was Kyler Wynn. Yeah, it was. And now this second pack's going to really have a chance to catch up, and they're flying up on those cars now.
Oh my gosh, so this is weird. Look at that. It's just Dylan and Brody by themselves, and it's only 4.
Oh, Brody
cars.
stayed behind the lapped cars. Now Dylan's by himself. It's still an SPM 1-2, and it looks like Brody's going to let him in. And that might have been Urich that actually went down to the inside wall. I don't know what happened there. But now we got 2 cars trying to stay on the lead lap now in front of the race leaders. So Burgee is now in a real tough spot because now they've lapped people that are going to be ahead of him when he has to pit again.
Okay, now we have 2 distinct pods. So this this second pack's they're flying now since these lap cars disorganized this front pack.
And we're going to definitely see 3, maybe even 4 wide once this top pack gets to those couple of spread out cars.
There's the gap between them.
Jugging. And it looks like one car goes out of line for some air on the nose. Yeah, we're definitely going to see 3 wide at a minimum once they catch up. And again, it would not shock me if they even go 4 for a couple moments.
Now Sheen will get on board of him. I mean, that gap looks huge, but he has a looks like a car left out by a car left on his own. That's the 12 of Johnson by himself. So they'll be able to sniff. This second pack's going to be able to sniff off of this number 12.
I wonder if Hunter will end up going up high, but I think
he has to. I think.
Let's see what he does.
Yeah, if he stays down low, this will kill this second pack, but we'll have to see on what Hunter Johnson elects with. He's just staying down low. I mean, yeah, he'll stay down low, but luckily this second pack is a bit more fanned out. We'll see what they can do around this 12.
And they all go around wide. And Hunter should be able to latch on to the back of this pack once they'll get around him. But they can't wreck in the process. You don't want to do that, as they all try to go around him still. And
yeah, that gap's now 2 seconds.
It's about 1.5 seconds now. They're closing in.
They're flying, man. They're out of this world. They're logging the fastest laps of this whole entire race right now. But that lead pack is started. They got regrouped. There's now 7 cars rather than 4.
Oh man, down still around 1.5 seconds. But that front pack being 2x2 is gonna negate some of the gains that second pack's gotten over the last lap or so. So the longer that front pack can stay 2x2, the longer it's gonna take for this second pack to get to them.
But the gap now is 1.7 to this front pack, so I think they're at a close enough proximity in which they could start slowly reeling in this lead pack. This lead pack's leaving a lot of draft. I mean, it's still 1.4 seconds to this lead draft, but that's enough of a gap in which you're starting to sniff off a draft that far back, but they're starting to take it 3 wide, so the 095 of Parker and Cole Williams is going to lose a bit of momentum, so this will string out the pack. Oh, here they come.
Oh, they're there.
They're there.
Yeah, now we're gonna see 3 wide for sure. They're flying up on him now.
Yeah, so where are they going to go once they catch this lead pack? I mean, they're not gonna be at a big enough momentum in which they might have to fling it 3, but they're definitely there.
I think we're gonna definitely see 3, perhaps in the middle of the turn. And Liam is there with Nick Miller. I think they're going to throw it up high in the middle of turn 2.
Oh, look how...
We'll see.
They're flying.
Will they?
Here they go! Oh, Parker's trying to block him!
And Nick goes back down. That stalls the run they had. Now Liam's in a bad spot here. And Nick's going to stay with Parker White. At least I thought. But now Liam's going to be able to get in behind Parker. So 3 wide gets stalled out. So actually, that was a really smart block by Parker White, because he totally stalled out the run they had, and now we're just 2 by 2, but now Liam and Nick will try again.
They're there. Miller just needs to cool off his motor just a bit more. Just get a bit of air and try again. He needs a car right behind him to maybe make that 3rd line work. It'll be the 87 of Casey Drake, maybe.
Casey's Schmidt behind him. Oh, that's
Oh my
tight.
gosh, they're squeezing so hard. 16 laps to go.
If you squeeze too much, you're going to end up wrecking, and they're really, really close together here down the backstretch.
404 Blaze, he goes up to the high side, 3 by 3 now. Sheen's flying.
Look at Sheen up there. Could he potentially even clear in the middle of the turn?
Oh, they're stalled out now. AJ fills the shoes of that 4th car in line on the 3rd lane.
Boy, is it
3
close.
by 3, 4 rows deep. This is what Dig is about.
Liam's got a good run up high. I don't know if he can clear, but that 3rd line definitely there. 15 to go at the line.
Would you say it's too early to take it 3 by 3? Oh, there they go!
Oh, there it is. Parker's going to spin, and more cars. Oh, and Schmidt briefly up on 2 wheels, and the caution will come out. And a plow there. I think that's Grindle into someone. And as soon as the packs got together, the gunpowder went boom, and there is the big one here with just 15 laps remaining. And we'll get another look and see what brought out caution 3 of the night.
Well, I just answered my own question. Is it too early to go 3 by 3? I guess it was.
Not even 5 seconds after.
That's right, and the first piece of contact... Oh, I'm not really sure how to... Oh! Kyler blew the motor.
Oh, no.
Right there behind Brody.
And he blew the motor in the ARCA race.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, Talladega has not been kind to Kyler Wynn. And Michael Rizzero, I believe, just took a huge hit to the inside wall. There's Clappert in the 34, the last car from the LCQ. He's collected in that. And the 23 just went straight down into the inside wall. And Benjamin with a near miss there on Clappert. And there's Grindle right into the side. I'm not sure what car that was. Yikes.
Oh, no. Dang. That sucks to see. As soon as they got grouped up together, I mean, that second pack had that go mentality. As soon as they got there, they were probably impatient, and they took it 3 wide, and in turn, unfortunately, a bit of contact there. Again, I need to see another replay of that incident.
And you know who's really happy to see this caution? Joe Burgee.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
This caution probably just saved Burgee's race. Yeah, I think the motor just blew right there.
Yeah,
Look at the 23 just right down. Actually, I think he saved that car. Good job there by Rizzero. And I think the biggest hit out of everybody.
Ooh.
Wow, that was a close call with the inside wall there.
In the 70.
But I think the biggest contact, was between Harry and then who's that car he hit? I'm not really sure, but... And we've already got people off of pit road. Well, I think Miller may have just beaten everybody off of pit road. And I think Alec Daffin may have just elected to stay out.
Oh,
And that's
there's
gonna
more
put him
than
to
people.
third.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man.
Looks like Dominic's a lap down, so I think he's getting the wave around here. So Hunter is up there. So yeah, Alec Daffin's now the leader. Poindexter second. Mullen stayed out. Lightus stayed out. Crawford, I believe, stayed out. And Weil. And I think Corey Long. I think Basin was the first car off of pit road. So now this is getting interesting. Yeah, so the top 4 stayed out. And then looks like Lightus and Corey. So 6 people are going to stay out. So this is going to put actually a good amount of SPM cars up there now. Looks like 4 of them, 5 of them actually in the top 10. 6 of them in the top 10.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Poindexter,
they're just
Lightus,
working with each other, trying to get themselves situated. But Alec Daffin's just playing semi-spoiler right now.
Yeah, Poindexter, Lightus, Gardner, Basin, Weil, and Miller. So that, yeah, 6 SPM cars in the top 10 with a restart of probably 10 or 11 to go. That could certainly be interesting here as to how this race ends.
I smell disaster with this next run. With now this big,
sure hope
this is
not.
like, this has a recipe for a 20-car wreck. I'm not gonna lie, because this is the first ever time we've really had a reset late race this whole entire weekend. The question is, how are these drivers gonna tackle it? I think the only option is to be aggressive, not lay toward the back. And with this reset, of course, with no more pit stops to really even worry about, it's going to be an all-out brawl once we take the green flag with 11 laps to go. This is going to be interesting.
One to go at the line. So 11 to go for the restart.
Oh, man. Yeah, you are right. Top 5 stayed themselves out. Corey Long, the 93, even though well, he's saving a bit of fuel, is jamming up the inside a bit, but Corey Long, this number 93, oh, no, he's now working forward. Trying to save as much fuel as it can. I mean, they're going to be close on fuel. These drivers who stayed out, they're going to be fairly close. I mean, they're
probably hoping for no green-white checkers.
Right. If there's a green-white checker, they're going to be screwed. But if they get a caution before 5 laps to go, I think they're going to be fine. The question is, I mean, looks like Poindexter is on 15 laps on his fuel tank. We have 12 laps to go, so do the math. 15 plus 12, that's about 28? 27, 28. Gonna be run under tank, so it's still gonna be okay for them, but they're just gonna be really close. And as you mentioned, the green-white checkered situation, they do not want to see an extension of this event.
So Alec Daffin will lead here with 11 to go in his only second race back after not racing in almost 2 years. That would be a pretty big upset if that 404 can manage to pull it off, or the 37 could pull it off. I don't know what Blaze Crawford is exactly doing.
I
It
guess
looks like he's
there's
going to plow into 5th. I guess that's where he was. So Daffin, Poindexter, Mullen, Lightus, and Crawford, your top 5. Blaze trying to go back-to-back, but a lot of drivers in this top 10 looking for their first ever iSCAR win. Who will get it here? 11 to go.
Green flag.
Green flag. And there are 32 drivers on the lead lap for this one, as AJ trying to take it 3 at the wire. Looks like to no avail for him. Nobody's going to be working with him, but up front, the man who won the Xfinity Series a couple seasons ago leads the field. Mullen is not letting go of that 37, though.
Look at that. 5 SPM cars on that high side. Can they all work together to try to get at least one of them up down to that bottom side, and we got people up the middle here. I think Crawford's trying to split the middle all by himself, and that's going to force Weil, Belitis, and Poindexter to come up to help him, but that's going to help Blaze Crawford, and all three of these SPM cars might drop to the back now.
Oh my goodness. Poindexter is just...
That was a gutsy move by Crawford.
Poindexter stayed himself up high to pick up his teammates. That is team loyalty at its finest as Long gets shoved to the apron. Out of harm's way he goes.
That's a tough break for Corey. He's going to lose a lot of ground now. 10 to go.
10 laps to go.
Crawford to the lead. He comes down, and now Basin lead that high side. And I think at this point, those three SPM cars up high are going to look for a place to slide in line. But
unless they can mount up a charge.
For a while.
It has to be Brody or Sheen to work himself up high. AJ takes the
bait!
bait!
AJ slings it up there.
I think AJ's going to work forward.
And you look at Sheen there. He's up there in the 1. Basin cannot clear into 3, but a daring move there by AJ Bain will put him in front of this high side. And can he get himself up to the front with that move? And look who it is again. The 75 of Blake Kennedy here in the top 10 once again. Already gotten 2 top 10s this weekend. Can he make it 3 for 3?
I'm not sure. AJ trying to pinch down that number 75. Oh, that third line's disorganized. They now drop even further back as I think Blake Kennedy or Liam Sheen has to take the bait to that third line to make it something of worth. Or maybe Joe Berge. Whoa! AJ gets to the side of Berge. Berge now works himself up high.
Berge thought about it and then I think maybe second guessed it. And Weil gets way disconnected here. And this whole third line is going to easily disconnect here. And I think Lightus in the 51 trying to find a place to get into line. But I don't know if he can. And now AJ and Poindexter are still stuck up there as well. And they're going to continue to fall through the field here.
All that wasted potential down the drain of that third lane. Now it's just a question of who's going to be even. Who's going to be taking the bait to go 3 wide. It has to be somebody inside this top 10. Or one of those 5 cars on the high side have to take it 3 wide. Can it be Casey?
I don't know if anyone will at this point.
Omar? Oh, he was trying to split the middle. Maybe boot out Casey. Sort of a hold your breath moment as of right now. So, just a question of how this will all go. As Brody still leads this thing. 2 by 2 still. I think once we hit 5 laps to go, that's when you'll start to see the 3 wide action. But for right now, it's sort of a waiting game. Omar still trying to split the middle from Casey. It boot him out. Oh, Blake peeks up high.
I think Kennedy gets shoved up there. Oh, and Diallo gets turned. And he goes up in the air on top of a car. That's Sawyer St. Clair. And he gets clobbered into the catch fence.
Oh, and AJ Bay nowhere to go. That was a weird wreck, but for Omar Diallo in that number 18, disappointment. As he flung up into the air. I'm not sure who the car who clipped him, but around he went right in the middle of the tri-oval.
I think he came down on Sawyer St. Clair there, and then and then he goes up on top of the 121 and bam, right into the path of, I think that's Cole Williams. And the back end of the car gets into the catch fence, and then nowhere for AJ Bain to go. So Bain's great run comes to a disappointing end. And the back end there gets into the fence. But I think Cole may have actually net-coded through that, but what a weird wreck that was.
Cole net-coded through, and AJ...
I don't think I've ever seen a car do that in a race like that. The way it just rested on top of Sawyer St. Clair's car like that. That was bizarre.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Sawyer washed up, and Omar, I think he was trying to come down and maybe take it 3 wide on Casey, but... Parker White got lucky.
And a near miss there for Henry Tabor. The same cannot be said, though, for Bain. And the roof flaps deploy, and look at Parker White came just that close to being clipped by the 18. But man, I thought it almost looked like it was going to blow over as if it was one of those 87 cars. And there you see the back end lift up and on top of the safer barrier. So what a bizarre, almost semi-realistic wreck there for Omar Diallo-ish. And that will be the certain end of his race, and a much-needed caution for some of those guys that fell towards the back.
Woo! All right. I think we're going to take the green on either 4 or 3 laps to go. This will give the wave around to... I think, somebody. It might have been Jeremiah, I'm not really sure. Henry Tabor. Or it might have been nobody because AJ did get the rear end. Well, I'm not really sure. Max did get a bit of damage off of that incident. Oh boy.
Oh boy. So I think we're going to have either 3 or 4 to go.
I think 4 laps to go.
Restart. And if a caution comes out after that, then we'll be in green-white checkered territory.
So we doubled the amount of cautions that we had the previous 2 races. I mean, the previous race, the Cup Series. Cup had 2. Here we are with 4. Still not a bad race. I mean, only
Not at
7
all.
caution laps. Oh man. How many cars are on the lead lap? I need to check over this. So we got...
I think
We
it's around
have
25 or so.
31 cars on the lead lap still. That's a ton of cars. I mean, damaged or non-damaged, but either way, still, and for these top 3, I mean, for these top 2, trying to add another win to their illustrious list. Dylan, Brody, Liam, Crawford, and the person with no iSCAR wins is now going to be Blake Kennedy in the 75, so we will take the green with 4 laps to go, so luckily I think there's going to be enough time for these engine temperatures to get hot, so they'll start to stagnate with 2x2. Just a question of 3x3. Is it even an option? I'm not sure.
One way to find out.
All right, I think now is the time to ask the question. Who do you think is going to come out as victory?
I refuse to answer that question.
Who's going to come out as victory? Who's going to come out as victor here tonight?
Yeah, I flat out refuse to answer that question because I already know that whoever I pick is not going to win the race.
If your name is Victor, I do apologize. You're ready, Victor.
We need to get somebody named Victor in this league now so we can call them Victor the Victor if they ever win. Because that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Victor the Victor. Victor for short.
Oh boy. Gotta go on green, so Brody can't pull what he did in the ARCA race and go when he'd like to.
Nope, you can't do that.
Can't do that. Oh man, I'm nervous! Oh no.
You think you're nervous? What about all the people that are on the track right now trying to get a dang win out there, man?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you got Liam Sheen, who's been so close so many times here. Blaze Crawford won last night. Blake Kennedy's never won here in iSCAR. Garner and Basin, they've won this season. Alec Daffin hasn't raced in almost 2 years, let alone win. Burgee hasn't won before. Casey Drake hasn't won in a little bit. Mullen won 2 days ago, and Miller's won this season. So an interesting mix of people here in the top 10 in terms of who's won and who hasn't. But who will end up victorious here?
They're starting to stack up. I think we're gonna see a wreck off the restart. But for the 55 of Brody Gardner. Oh boy. Brody is really good at controlling the field, and if the 55 plays his cards out right, victory lane. Green flag.
4 to go.
Oh, they're starting to stack up toward the back. Gotta fling it 3 and maybe get yourself rolling, but...
They've got to take it 3. There's no way they don't. Whoa! Granada makes a move up high. And he's going to take it 3, but no one's going with him.
You're too slow to take it 3 wide. I think you just got to wait until your cars get up to speed.
Yeah, I think Granada jumped the gun on that one there. And he's going to drop to the back. And we got people all over the place here down the backstretch. High, low, everywhere. And Gardner leads here into 3 with his teammate Basin up high. Blaze Crawford again trying to go 2 in a row after winning last night. Blake Kennedy still trying to win his first ever race in a prime position to, sitting in 5th after finishing in that spot in last night's race.
This time by 3 laps of racing left. Liam hit the apron just a bit, so this will propel the high side forward.
Here he goes.
Oh,
Basic
looks like Mullen was trying to take a 3. Looks like nowhere to go. It's not that he has nowhere to go. It's just nobody's working with him.
And now that they're at full speed, we're going to definitely see people jump up there. Miller's going up there, but again, he's the same problem. Nobody went with him, and I'm shocked that nobody else has gone up there yet.
Miller follows himself back in line. They're starting to stack up 2 by 2 again.
I'm starting to wonder if we're going to make
it. Mullen gets
going hard into the wall!
Caution is out.
And goes flying into the air and goes upside down and through the infield grass. And Friday night's winner will not repeat tonight, and we will be going into green-white checker territory.
Yikes.
What a huge, huge hit.
I think he was the only car involved in that.
I think he just got right-reared by Dominic. We'll have to look again.
Oh, they started to stack up. Wow.
Oh, man.
That was a hit.
It barrel rolls through the grass and hits the inside wall to top it off.
Yeah, Dominic was... I mean, he had no idea that they started to check up.
That might be the single hardest hit of the entire season right there. That was massive.
Yeah. That's a disappointing end for that number 17's vent.
Oof.
Yikes, man.
Is that Clappert that went underneath him right there?
I don't know. There was like 5, 7 cars that went under that.
Lucky as anything.
Woo. There's one of them. That was William Schmidt.
Unreal. A couple of those guys might need a change of pants after that one.
Yeah.
Nothing like seeing a car go flying right towards your car.
Yikes. So we'll have a green-white checkered. The question is, of those drivers who stayed out, those SPM drivers, are they going to be able to make it on fuel? Looks like they already hit pit road once. I mean, once within that final 25 laps. For Daffin, though, 27 laps on his tank right now. And... it's going to be close for him. I mean, he has this caution to save a bit of fuel, but... is it going to be enough?
One way to find out.
So Garner, seems as though he controlled it right. And heck, if that was a green-white checkered, he would come out as the winner of this race. So for the 55 of Brody, who knows? You want to use that last restart? I mean, inspect that last run to your advantage. And in my opinion, I think off a green-white checkered, the top 5 are the only people to really have a shot at the win. So for Garner, Basin, Sheen, Crawford, and Kennedy, as long as they play their cards out right, they'll come out in victory lane. But how will this all work out once we take that green flag for green-white checker number 1?
Oh, man.
Bernie
He
has
thought they were nervous.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, if you thought they were nervous on the last restart, how do you think they are now?
Oh man, it has to be a bit frustrating for all these drivers, honestly. Got up to speed, engine temperatures were set to maybe take a run somewhere, maybe 3 wide, but now it's just going to be a question of how this top 5 will maybe disrupt the middle portion of this pack. Oops. But yeah, I don't know how to really interpret this, but if anybody outside this top 10 want to win, they got to get lucky. So the variables that are playing into this are going to rely off the 1 and the 404. The 55 of Garner has to go on green. Basin in the 08 is going to be locked side by side with him. How will the 404... who's going to be the better pusher? Is it going to be the 404 Blaze Crawford or the 1 of Liam Sheen? Of course, Blaze already has a win. Sheen, we saw what he could do in the Cup race. Both of those drivers finished 1-2 yesterday. How will this all turn out for them? I'm not sure. And if somehow this top 4 get disrupted, who's going to be the first on the scene to take that lead? Is it going to be Alec Daffin or Blake Kennedy? Or maybe somebody outside this, outside of that.
Or if they, like, all wreck.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? The endless scenarios.
We saw it at the truck race 2 nights ago where they were green until the final lap, and then pretty much the entire field except for the top 5 wrecked.
Right.
So, I mean, we've seen it once this weekend. It's entirely possible we see it again.
And yeah. Oh man. My brain is sort of having a malfunction right now, just thinking of the endless possibilities on how this will all go. But in terms of winning this top 5, I mean, this top 4, all in position to win it. But once that white flag waves, all bets are off. You're not going to be working with anybody unless you're boxed in. But here we go. Pace car. In. Garner. Ready. Basin. Ready.
They're all ready, I think. I hope.
I hope they are. I hope they're all ready too. Here we go. Green flag is now
Green flag,
waving.
green flag.
Here we go.
There we go. So, looks like the outside line got a better restart.
A much better restart. The inside's disconnected, and now Kennedy's going to have a run on Brody, or actually Liam, and now they're already 3 wide as Benjamin White gets shuffled out. Nick Miller looks like he's going to go up high to help his teammate here, and they're already 3 wide, but Miller, I think, is debating it, but now we can't go back down. We're 4 wide out of turn 2.
Oh, they got to watch their spotters. Rosero's looks like
It's
a
gonna be
Miller.
close.
They're
Miller
still 4
gets
wide.
in. And there goes Benjamin. He's got no help at all, and he's going to go completely in the wrong direction. The SPM teammates still side by side for the lead here into turn 3 as Kennedy gets up to the back bumper with Sheen, but can't go anywhere with that run.
Rosero's thinking about it, wanting to
And
take a
Miller.
3.
Are they going to do it, though? They're thinking about it, but they need more people to go up there with them.
Here we go. Looks like we're going to make it to the white. They got to make themselves to the tri-oval.
They still have to get through the tri-oval here.
All right, that's it. White flag. So 2.66 miles left. Now the question is, if the 404 pulls out a line, it's going to be left with Brody and Sheen by themselves. Can Sheen pull out a line if he gets clear?
And you know Liam's going to make that move if he can after coming up just short last night. And there he goes.
He comes.
He makes the move. Brody can't block it. Now the inside line's a bit disconnected, and Liam should be able to clear for that spot in turn 3. And look at Blake Kennedy get shoved onto the apron. He makes contact with Brody. Kennedy gets turned, and the whole field wrecks. Blake Kennedy launches 50-plus feet into the air.
But it's these 4 left. It's Sheen and Brody.
Here comes Sheen. Basin makes
Brody.
a move.
Oh, he makes a move.
Liam blocks. Basin goes down low.
Oh, he's on the apron.
Basin out of the apron. in through the trouble. They're side by side of the line. They're still side by side. Basin takes it.
Oh my gosh! And Sheen comes up short for the 4th time again!
Second again.
Oh my! Oh my goodness! Massive wreck into 3, left out 4 drivers by themselves, and for Dylan Basin, W!
Unbelievable finish. Wow.
Oh my goodness! And for Liam Sheen, disappointment.
That isn't even disappointment. I would just be downright disgusted. Second at Talladega 2 nights in a row. Oh, man.
Yikes. But my oh my, for Dylan Basin, win number 2 of this season.
We gotta see that wreck again. Blake Kennedy absolutely flew.
Yeah, there was contact with Berge coming into the corner, and oh my goodness. Dylan's gonna burn it down on the front straightaway.
Congratulations to that 08 on an unreal finish.
He pulled out at the right time, and Sheen couldn't block all of that. Actually forced Basin on the apron, but we'll get a replay of it.
I think there was a bit of netcode perhaps between Kennedy and Berge. They wheel hopped a bit into 3.
Here we go.
And then they all went around. So Kennedy was that close to getting his 3rd top 5 of the weekend, but came up just short. As there they are at the white. And you'll see the move down the backstretch of Liam trying to go up there to get the lead. And he had it in a turn 3 and he cleared.
Yeah, I thought Sheen had it won by then, but he worked up high right there as soon as he got clear of Basin. Brody tried to block.
Now watch the 75 and the 83, I believe. Yeah,
Ooh.
right here. Berge gets the run. Kennedy gets shoved onto the apron. They wheel hop right there. Sartaj gets into Berge. And then there goes the 75 careening into the air. And they all end up going around. And it's left with just these 4 with Roten and others in the distance. Basin makes the first move, makes the second move. And then the final move here. And Liam blocks him down under the apron. And Basin does the right thing and comes right back up the hill. And times it perfectly. And steals the win away from that 1.
Zoom back to see that big wreck. And Blake Kennedy.
75. Watch him just
pow.
Bam!
Oh my goodness.
And Daffin goes upside down as well.
There he is.
There he is. And I think somebody else may have gone upside down as well.
Yeah, it was the 87 of...
the 3rd car.
I think Casey. But man, as soon as they flung into 3 and Berge and Kennedy made contact, I mean, Kennedy's trying to shove himself to the bottom, and...
Yeah, they were four wide for a moment there. And
yeah.
Here's the 75 getting hooked, and...
Oh, my.
Oh. And then here's more cars. There's Lightus, Miller, Sawyer St. Clair. AJ gets hard into the outside wall.
No.
And more... Oh, man, and they continue to pile in. There's Granada junked in the 04. And I think there were a few more cars out of turn 4. But here's your photo finish here as Basin edges out Liam Sheen. Take home the win. And you see how close Brody was to getting 2nd as well. And Blaze Crawford, after winning last night, gets another top 5.
Speaking of top 5, look at this order. What in the world? How about this?
Nick Roten.
Nick Roten, top 5. So we'll scroll through the order. Dylan Basin, Liam Sheen, Brody Gardner, Blaze Crawford. Nick Roten, top 5. How about that?
Berge.
And Berge
had that short pit and ended up 6th.
Yeah, what a move by him. And Dominic Howell, Christopher Weil, Cole Williams, and William Schmidt round out the top 10.
And with Patterson missing the race, that should give Cole Williams the points lead here after tonight's race. Henry Clappert, the last car into the race, ends up 11th. Great job by him. Carson Poindexter, 12th. Sertajman, 13th. Hunter Johnson, 14th after being lapped earlier. Corey Long, Michael Rosero, Nick Miller, Henry Tabor, Casey Drake, and Parker White round out your top 20.
Kendrick, Drake, AJ, Grindle, Sawyer, Granada, Benjamin, Olsen. I think these are all the drivers who really got involved in the wreck, hence why they're just so far back. Blake Kennedy round out the top 30.
Alec Daffin looks like he's the first car that doesn't finish. He ends up 31st. Max Yerk, 32nd. Jeremiah Bethune, Brian Mullen, Omar Diallo after hitting the fence earlier. Kyler Wynn started second, but unfortunately that engine expired earlier. Mitch Hobbs, Ethan Harrison, Austin Johnson, and Garrett Hess. And then the last 3 cars on the grid, Tower Connors, who was involved in that first lap wreck, Alex K. Gretz, and Hunter Rupp, unfortunately, shotgun here on tonight's field.
For Dylan Basin, that, oh wait, another victory to add on to his win list. Picks up his second of the season. And we will be right back right after this. Stay tuned. More to come for the iSCAR DeNise Design Series, interviewing out the top 5.
Is rolling out for the start of today's 400 lap race on this 0.625-mile racetrack. And just as the field comes all around turn number 4, the sunshine peeks through, helping warm things here. Bill Elliott leads him down. Benny Parsons on the outside. The green flag flies, and the first Union 400 Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead, and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. Oh, here we go. It's just about to go away. They bump coming out of turn 4. Earnhardt gets the lead. We had just heard from our spotters that Neil Bonnett. Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
And we welcome everybody back here live for the iSCAR DeNise Design Series Max Speed TV broadcasting our 78 lap event. Of course, going a bit overtime off of this exchange, but in the meantime of that, congratulations to the man of the hour who won this event, this number 08 of Dylan Basin, who rounds himself out in victory lane here for tonight. And into the booth he goes. Right about, if I could find his name, there he is. Right about now, and into the booth he goes. Dylan, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Dylan, man, you played your cards out right at the end, and my goodness, unreal for you and that whole entire team. Basin Racing, of course. You played your cards out right on that green-white checkered, and you edge out Liam Sheen here at Talladega, but oh my, I don't even know where to start. Just walk me through that final restart.
Now, the final restart was all about predicting where everyone would do, where they would go, which was somewhat easy. I thought Brody would block me down the backstretch, and I thought Liam would block harder considering what he did last time, but I just had to predict their movements, and it worked out. And came out with win number 3 this season, so that's 3 more than last season.
Yep, that is right. Congratulations on your big W here for tonight. Your second in this series after a big Iowa win, of course. And here again, another last lap pass to move yourself into victory lane. But man, you led 16 laps this whole entire event. So what was your strategy coming in here for tonight?
I was just trying to stay in the back and get out of trouble, but I got clipped in the first wreck, so I said, screw it. If I'm going to get wrecked in the back, I'll just race up front, and that worked out better than staying in the back, so.
Yep, that's right, and off that restart, you shuffled yourself to the front on that white flag and picked up your second Xfinity Series win here tonight at Talladega. Congratulations, buddy. But before we let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
Yeah, just SPM Racing and Basin Racing helped me out there. That's really it, and Cole Woody for spotting me, and it's my third one, Zeke. Third in Xfinity?
Oh yeah, that's right, you won Michigan too. Shit. Yeah, I forgot about that, but in the meantime of that, congratulations, Dylan, for rounding yourself out in victory lane here for tonight. We'll go ahead and see you coming next episode.
right, thank you.
And we'll move ourselves back one position to Liam Sheen. This is gonna be yikes.
All right, Liam, got a copy?
Yeah, gotcha.
Unfortunately, the deja vu is strong with this one, as you come up short in second place last night, and the exact same thing happens here tonight. You think you could have done anything different, or do you think you'd ended up blocking as much as you could, and it just happened the way it did?
I don't know. I don't even want to look at it, honestly.
I don't blame you.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, I mean, the silver lining for you came into tonight fourth in points, and another massive points haul here for you tonight, and I think that's going to almost lock you into the DeNise Design Series chase. So if there's anything good out of tonight, it's that. So what are you going to have to do over these next two races to make sure not only that you stay there, but put yourself in a good points position to battle for that championship over the remaining 7 races?
Just hope I don't choke again like I have the last 2 nights at Ohio or something. I don't know. I don't know. Just be quick enough. Don't destroy the car and capitalize on other areas. And that's about it.
Well, hopefully you can get yourself into victory lane soon enough. You've shown you got the speed, but just need that one last spot to get there. Before I let you go tonight, any sponsors or people you want to thank here?
Blaze Crawford, Mark, TDR, all the guys over there. You guys can pick on the broadcast.
All right, Liam Sheen, runner-up once again, unfortunately, here at Talladega. Hope to see you back here at your next race and the rest of the season. It feels
that
bad,
hurt.
man.
That hurt.
Oh, it really do be like that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, 2 nights in a row, P2, and at Talladega, I mean, it's I can't explain it. It hurts coming home second. I've felt it on many scenarios, and just being short of that illustrious win, it just.
I think I'd be less mad if I finished like 38th 2 races in a row than second 2 races in a row.
Right. I totally agree on that. And in Liam Sheen's case, that just, again, it hurts. It hurts. And we'll scoot ourselves back to the 55 of Brody Gardner with this one, who finishes out in 3rd place, who is leading it coming to the green, but actually played a big catalyst in that final run to the checkered flag, pushing the 08 of Basin to the win. And man, Brody, you led the last 2 restarts, but unfortunately you got shuffled out of line there in the back straightaway. Just walk me through that final restart.
Well, we got a huge run coming off a 2 on the final lap, and Liam got clear of Dylan, and at that moment I knew my chances of winning were low, because all he had to do was just jump outside and get the push, and he'd clear me easily. So after that, I just tried to do everything I can to, salvage a position, I guess. Ended up getting 3rd, solid points day. Gained a lot of points trying to get into the chase right now. So yeah, that 3rd place definitely helped. Yeah, just disappointed. If Dylan got a little better push and was side by side with Liam, I think I had a very, very solid chance, because I could have blocked some lanes. And then I came across the checkered flag in 1st, but nothing I can do now. Just happy with the result I got.
Yeah, that's right. Brody, it seemed as though off those restarts, do you think the cars right behind you were a bit disorganized off the initial green, hence why you couldn't get rolling as fast as you wanted to, or was it just a matter of time before they started to swamp you?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was that, because we already had a lap to form up, and the whole reason I got swamped was because we were going too fast. So no, that didn't really affect what happened to me.
Regardless off of that, and a P3 finish to round yourself out here at Talladega. And of course, big points-wise as well for you and that whole entire team. Congratulations on our 3rd place finish. But before we let you go, Any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
I'd like to thank SPM Racing. They've been helpful all week. Haven't had the Talladega week I've wanted, so this is a good way to finish it. But yeah, without those guys, I definitely wouldn't have finished where I did. I'd like to thank Proximity Racing and Blue Chew Americas. Chew it and do it.
All right, about 10 for Garrett. I mean, not Garrett Hess. What am I saying? Brody Gardner rounds himself out in 3rd place here for tonight after starting all the way back in, it looks like 5th. So, congratulations, bud. We'll go ahead and see your next race.
Thank you.
To yourselves back 1 spot to the Cup Series winner, the 404 Blaze Crawford.
All right, Blaze, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
You had a pretty good weekend here, won your first ever iSCAR race last night, and you topped that off with a 4th place run tonight. What did you have that this weekend that a lot of people didn't have that enabled you to finish so good here and do so good?
Common sense. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think I'm just
right,
really. Yeah, you might be right. I might be right there, but I always felt like that. I'm just like, just really calm in the heat of the moment. You know what I'm saying? All these guys out here, kind of like Dunce Boy, Dylan Basin. I don't know how he won this race. Bug eyes looking dude. He's out here running 14, 12 to 1, like going all over the place. So I was having a hard time pushing him. I don't know if he had some kind of like heater on the back of his car, which was making my car blow up every time I got to his bumper. But I feel like it's just the fact that I have just absolute great car control that really just gives me an edge over all these other guys like Max Urich in this race.
Well, when the dust settles, you still ended up doing pretty good here in another 4th place run. I don't know where you are in the points. I don't know if you're up there. It looks like you're not, but I don't know where you are in other series, but, I mean, do you plan on racing pretty regularly soon, or do you think this is just a whole Dagger Ringer thing where you ended up doing good at it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I just been just on a bad sleep schedule. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was like 5th or 6th. I mean, honestly, I think I was leading the truck points at one point, and I just started missing races because I was, like, going to sleep. Like, Friday night, I was going to run that truck race. I was hyped for it. You know what I did? I sat on my couch, I fell asleep. I woke back up, it was 11:30. I said, man, I just missed my favorite iSCAR race of the season. But you know what? I'm glad to be back. It's a great week to be back. Talladega week, man. Like, who wouldn't want to be here for Talladega? Who's not here? Mark Frimpong, Kenny Brady, Max Brady, because they're absolutely just dunces. They're total dunces. That's why they're sitting right now in the Star Wars fan club and they can't race because they just don't know what they're doing. That's what it is about. But yeah, I will be back for the truck series. I'm making the playoffs for that, and I'm going out there and I am winning that championship. I'm telling y'all, no question about it. It's literally free.
Do not question this man. He is out for blood here in iSCAR. Before I let you go, tonight, any sponsors or people you want to thank here?
Yeah, I gotta thank the Star Wars fan club, just like I said earlier. I gotta thank the 3 laps lead I had. I don't know how I had 0x during the race. I gotta thank the bonus point I got for that. Also gotta thank Liam Sheen. I gotta apologize to Liam Sheen because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I was trying to get down through the middle underneath Dylan to make sure that Liam won this race because that man deserves a win. You know what I'm saying? This dude finished 2nd like how many times now? And I got my win. Like it's time for him to win, man. And then we got Mr. Soft Voice Brody Gardner finishing 3rd, and I just can't believe it. I should have easily been on the podium tonight. But you know what? We will be back. We'll be back better than ever on what is it, Wednesday night, I think it is, for the super late models. But also got to thank Lito and the boys because we'll be playing tomorrow's hype night. Gonna absolutely just peace control every kid I get near. And also make sure you guys just keep Mark Frimpong, Latham Joyner, Kenny Brady, Max Brady, whoever else. I think we've banned Colton Zimmer at this point. Make sure they stay banned because racing without them has been so much better. I'm going to thank you guys for having a great series.
All right, Blaze Crawford rounds himself out here in 4th tonight. Hope to see you back here for the rest of the season.
I appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Or
Oh, shit.
Oh my!
That's going on the Instagram. I know that for sure. So.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Let's drag in our 5th place finisher out of nowhere. That's Nick Roten in the 13. Let's get him in here.
All right, the 13 and Nick Roten, Mr. 1K I rating, rounds himself out in 5th. That just proves to you that Talladega can do anything. And Roten, You were running toward that top 5 earlier, but you fell out. But luckily, the cards played out right for you after that big wreck in a 3. What'd you see off your windshield?
Well, saw my windshield that I saw Joe Berge in the 75 car. They just got into each other, and I was like, oh, crap, better drop low. Figured out it was the right call after I watched Sartaj get loose, and the whole field just exploded behind me. Figured I would just ride it out, and hey, got a top 5.
Yep, that's right. You worked yourself through that big wreck and escaped it with a bit of damage, but otherwise than that, the top 5 is a top 5, and you started yourself all the way back in 14th place. And what was your strategy for this whole entire for that big green flag run?
Honestly, for the big green flag one, I was working with my teammates at Supreme Motorsports, Max Urich and Peter Kenny. They really helped me out. Came in pit, strategy didn't work out too well. I was honestly just praying for a caution at that point, and it finally came, and that's honestly what saved the race. Then it was just hold on for dear life on the inside line and hope to God something works.
And indeed it did. You roll off here out of Dega with a top 5 finish in the Xfinity Series, but I think your highest finish ever in iSCAR. So congratulations on that. But before we let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
I want to thank Max Urich for designing my awesome paint scheme. The whole team at Supreme Motorsports, drivers that helped me out, like Liam Sheen and all those guys. Just a whole great bunch of people. Glad to be here, and yeah, thank you guys so much.
All right, bud. 10-4. Nick Roten rounds himself out in 5th. That's starting all the way back in 14th place. We'll go ahead and see you coming in next race, bud.
I see you too.
It's a contrasting interview. I mean, with all those 5 drivers, you're either really happy, really sad, or you just don't give a damn. And in the case of Blaze Crawford, he don't give a damn. But another contrast to that, for Dylan Basin and that whole entire team, a huge victory here for tonight. And my oh my, what a finish here to end off at Talladega. But Dewey, any last words you want to go ahead and insert before we end off tonight's broadcast?
Well, I will just say, for what my expectations were, that was an incredible week of racing we just had. But as good as that week was, we've got another week of racing on tap for you here. The Super Late Model Series will go to everybody's favorite track, USA International Speedway on Wednesday night. I know everyone loves racing there so much. It's the greatest thing ever. Friday night, the Truck Series will head itself down to Auto Club. That should be a fun one as well. And the weekend will be full of road courses. The Cup Series will go to Sonoma on Saturday night. I don't know which configuration we're using yet, but that's why you watch to find out. And on next Sunday night, the Xfinity Series will go to Mid-Ohio. And we saw what happened with Liam Sheen the last time we were at Mid-Ohio. That man needs to win at some point. And hopefully he doesn't have a similar fate to last year as he does in that race. But thank you all for watching here tonight. And congratulations once again to Dylan Basin on picking up win number 3 on the season. For Ezeckiel Reyes, I am Dewey Schramm.
Thanks for watching.